Hey guys, it's Heather with the Wyoming Sunflower again, and let's make powder to foam cleanser. Let's go. You are going to be messing with a lot of powder, so make sure you wear your mask. All right, first up is sodium cocoa isolate. I suck at saying that. Then we have our Kaleido oats, our kaolin clay. In this case, there's French green clay and purple Brazilian clay, but you can use other clays in this. And then there is my dried calendria leaves. And I also use argan oil. And of course, I use tea tree because it's great for the face. I measured this all out, but if you guys would like the recipe, I teach it on my Patreon. So check out the stuff below and it will tell you how to get there. But you're also going to need a strainer because these powders can get really clumpy. Now you're going to see that I should have had a bigger bowl, but you know what? We all make mistakes. So I ended up eventually switching out the bowl in the middle of this. Don't be shocked. Nothing changed. I just didn't choose the right size bowl. That happens with us makers. It's whatever. So I start off with the SCI and I put it in and put it through a strainer. It gets out all the little lumps. It just separates it until it's really a fine powder. It works out great. You're going to go through and you're going to put all of your powders through the strainer. It's just going to separate everything. I'm not going to bore you with the details of telling you each one, but you're going to go through and just put all of your powders through your sifter. I chose for my recipe to do the Brazilian purple clay and the French green clay together. You can use rose clay. You can even use more kaolin clay. There's all different sorts of clays that you can use. Please, please, please look up what each clay does. You can make different foaming powders for different types of skin. That's what I do. But just go through all of your different clays, what they do, and research every little thing on that. I could also put up a little slide that has all that information. But yes, please research that. On this part, when you do the calendria flowers, I'm showing you here that all of the little pieces don't go through the mesh. So this is what I suggest to do. I dump that into the strainer and then I just shake it back and forth so all of the good stuff falls and all of the little sticks or stems or pieces that aren't finely ground stay in the strainer. Now you can use that extra bit into soaps for exfoliation or for something else. But I was just showing there that you don't want to just pour that in because you will have some really scratchy pieces that you just don't want into your powder. So here I'm going to show how I just kind of smack it and let all the good stuff fall. And then what is left, I just save for exfoliation soap or something else. All right, now we're going to mix all of our powders, our flowers, everything together. Make sure everything just marries each other and it's just happy. Okay. This is the hardest part because let me tell you, this powder is really super fine. And make sure you have your mask on the entire time that you are making this recipe. Otherwise, you will regret it. You will have soapy, sneezy, burny feeling in your nose and you will not like it. Now you can use jojoba oil, argan oil. Use some of your more expensive, finer oils, good for your skin, even avocado. Use some of your good oils for your face. This is going on somebody's face or your own, and you want to make sure it is a good quality oil. Now, I measure my oil and I put my tea tree oil into that, kind of swoosh it around and add it. And this is, this part doesn't need to be fancy. Here's that swooshing part. No science to it. Just kind of swoosh it around. Add it a little bit at a time. Mix, add, because you will get little wet balls inside of there. You're going to already get that. So just a little bit, mix it around, add a little bit more, and just keep doing that until you've used all of your oil and tea tree mixture. Now, I like to talk about how ingredients are expensive. Scrape everything. I absolutely hate seeing makers that do not scrape everything out of their bowls or their cups or off their spatulas. It drives me absolutely insane because these ingredients I'm using can be very expensive. So utilize the little spatula and scrape everything out, please. Now, there's two different ways you can do this part. You can scoop it all back into the sifter, sift it back through to break up all those little wet balls that you're going to have for where the fragrance and the oil and stuff is. I find that I like to use my hands. I'm a very hands-on maker. I like to not only feel it and play in it because, it's fun, but I find that a lot of times it works a lot better because look how hard it is to squish it back through a strainer. It it just is a pain in the butt, and sometimes it's just easier to do the kind of dough kneading hand, I don't know, gesture to through push, the oil into the oil or into the powders and mix it all. Don't make things harder than they need to be. Do you see all of that? See how that's not mixing very good? Yeah, don't waste your time. I mean, you can if you want to, it's your time. But me, I like to do this little movement and just kind of force the oil into the powder and break up all those little balls. And I just find it works better when I'm doing this, when I'm doing like bath bombs, shower steamers, toilet, all of it. When I do anything with powder and mixture, I like to use my hands. You can just really feel anything that's left over. It's just easier. Now I put my mixture out onto a tray and let it dry for a couple days. Let everything just kind of marinate and marry and be all happy together. So I just, spread it out, let it dry. You want everything to be dried in that way. When it's time, you're going to run it back through a strainer again, and it should be a lot easier when everything is dried. So later on in the evening, I checked and it was totally dry. So it's like 103 degrees today, and we have really low humidity, which is crazy. I think we're at a 40% humidity, which is high for where I'm at, but it was actually dry. So I'm like, okay, let's do this. These are the bottles that I'm using now. They're just so cute. But if it's about, I think it's 1.3 ounces of this powder in there, which is perfect because you only need a little bit at a time. So this is how, remember I had said earlier, you're going to strain it back through there again, and that's just what I'm doing here. And I won't have you guys sit here and watch me do this whole thing. Now this is how I fill my jars, is I take my handy dandy funnel, scoop some, and it goes. Now I have measured my bottles empty, and I know how much in the bottle that it takes to make 1.3 ounces. Just trust me on that. I take this little brush and I shove it through the hole just to make it go faster, because honestly I'm ADHD and I'm a little bit impatient. So you can be patient and let it go like I'm doing right there. Whoops. But I don't have the patience for that. On these bottles, make sure that you fill all the way to the top where it looks like it's overflowing. Put your hand over and then smack it down, because powder settles, and it'll look, if you don't do that, it'll look like you gypped somebody. Now check out how many bottles it made. I mean, this recipe makes a lot. And my cute little stickers, aren't they adorable? So I took a moment in there while I was waiting for everything to dry. Actually, I was just gonna make the stickers, have them waiting, because I thought it would take a little bit of time, but it's just been so hot. And the fact that I am not running the air conditioner as I'm making, or letting it all set, because I don't want powder going everywhere, they dried pretty fast. But there you go. Foaming face wash. Let me know if you have questions.